Hi, here we're going to be talking about file sharing over the internet and FTP, or File Transfer Protocol. So file sharing. Let's first establish that all internet connections, all network connections of communication is about the sharing of data, the sharing of signals, the sharing of information. And this data is often in the form of files, also called documents and folders. Even what we call computer programs or applications are also files and folders. So if you look into a program that you have, you might see this .exe executable file. Oops. The program, anyone programs is just essentially a set of files and folders. So all data transfer is the transfer of files and folders in a way. When you access the Wikipedia web page via your browser, you're making a request to obtain the Wikipedia page on your computer. And you retrieve the Wikipedia page file itself. And you can actually look into what's behind it. You right click and view page source, right click on the page, view page source, and you see what actually is involved in the Wikipedia page in the background that gets then rendered to look like this. And we'll talk more about this on our web lectures next time. So all internet connection is about file sharing. It's about file transfer. However, specialized programs, protocols, channels, and devices enable and impose restrictions on the sharing of certain types of files or the sharing among certain devices or networks. So not all file sharing is created equal. And as we're just kind of mentioning, the file sharing over the web, over the HTTP protocol, the web protocol, involves the exchange of web pages. So when you open a browser, the browser is installed in your computer. We kind of went over this. You will make each HTTP request for a web page or a web application. And in the web, this connection is often open and public. So a public blog or news sites, anybody can connect to it. But of course, sometimes you need credentials to access certain accounts or documents and services. So you may need to log in with your username and password. But this is a connection of web pages, and you can only access web pages or web applications via the web browser. An interesting example, you actually don't have it here, but if you think about like an app, when you have a phone and you have an app on your phone, let's say a Facebook app, once you use that Facebook app, you cannot connect to web pages via the Facebook app. Right? The Facebook app does not enable you to connect to any web pages. For that, you need the web browser, Safari or Firefox or something else. And that's what I mean by these restrictions. Another file sharing example is AirDrop. So different technologies, different protocols, different standards, and so on. Apple AirDrop is a protocol of Apple that enables Apple devices to share different types of files via Bluetooth connections among Apple devices. Such that data transfer must happen between Apple device and with the AirDrop software. So the software must be connected, their Bluetooth must be connected, must be turned on, must be functioning. The phones need to be relatively close to each other, and the file sharing can happen that way. So various ways for file sharing to happen. This is not internet, this is Bluetooth. Now file sharing over FTP. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, and it is an internet protocol that enables computers to share files across the internet. It's one of the protocols of the internet, more at the application layer. It requires the installation of the FTP server software in a particular computer, which we call the server. And this server would be able to host data, to receive requests and exchange of files. The server is used to host or store any files of interest. Okay, there we go. This has been, so in our case, we're going to be using, this has been set up for us in the SIS server, the School of Information Science server, and we need not worry about it. It's already installed there. And there's other technologies installed there too that enable our website to function and be open to receive web requests. Now, any other computer may then install the FTP Client software to upload files to or download files from the server. So, here's kind of an example of just a web page, Facebook, just to show that when we go to the facebook.com website, we're making requests to the Facebook page via the web browser. Now, there's another software program called the FTP Client program. And we're going to use this program. I'm going to ask you to install in your computer. And you're going to, once you install it in your computer, you're going to be able to access the FTP server. And you're going to upload your HTML file, your web page that you're going to create into the server. And once it's uploaded into the server, that server also has other connections that enable the web browser to retrieve that file. And you should see more on this on the file sharing over FTP that I'm going to point to. So, and then once you upload your web page to your FTP server, you can go to any browser and type the address of the server in your own folder area, and you can connect to your own web page. The one program that I'm recommending you to use is FileZilla, but you can use any FTP client program to connect to your server. That's it for this one, and see you next time.